So hello and welcome. This is a new pre-show for GPVWC. I'm Mike and I'm the scrutineer elsewhere, but here today I'm running you through everything Formula Challenge. So that is our lowest series, but our feeder series and our exciting new talent series. Up-and-coming drivers all start off here in the ladder, all working their way up through the other series, which I'm sure you can also catch here over the coming days. You join me here at round 7. We're here at the Canadian GP for the Circuit de Villeneuve. For a thrilling race coming forwards. We're not here for the actual broadcast. That will be coming later. The race kicks off tonight at 8 o'clock. They're qualifying 20 minutes before that. So make sure you stick around and watch that on this channel as well. In the meantime, though, we're going to try and catch up with some drivers as they're getting ready for the race to find out what's going on, what's going through their heads, maybe how the season's gone so far, maybe if they feel they're going to hit the wall of champions. Who knows? This is Canada after all. It's very different. Last round we were in Monaco. If you haven't caught that, again, it's all on the channel. Have a catch back. Very exciting stuff. But in the meantime, we've got 2 races here. So Formula Challenge is split into 2 races of 18 laps. I'm happy to be joined by absolutely anyone. If you're just starting to watch this, or you're a manager, or you're a driver who's thinking racing tonight, or you've raced these cars at all, you want to get involved, get and chatting to us. We're live, obviously. Get chatting to us on the YouTube channel. Come and join us in the GPVWC Discord as well. I will get round to you if there's a queue. If not, please join me. I'll be very, very lonely. Otherwise, we're here for a good half an hour, so we'll be here to about 20 past 7. After that, you've got a small break before the qualifying kicks off for the main broadcast. Just enough time to make yourself a brew and really settle down and enjoy the race. I am joined, though, by a couple of drivers already, and I see another one in the waiting area, so I better crack on, otherwise I'm going to really run out of time. So we shall start. Well, I'll start off with names some of you may know from higher up in the series, who also runs a team here, and we've got his driver with us as well. So I'm very lucky to be joined by Mr. David Francic, who races up in SL but has Red Arrow Racing here in Formula Challenge, and his driver as well has joined us, Nicholas. So welcome, chaps.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for being my very first guest on a pre-show. That's, you made history tonight just by being here and turning up. Thank you very much. But you guys are here at Canada, the Wall of Champions. Many great races have driven around here. Does it? And it's your first year as a team here, I suppose, for GPVWC. So Nicholas, you're the one racing. David, I'm pretty sure you won't be surprising us by suddenly jumping in the car and racing. But I'll come to Nicholas in a second. David, though, as a team, is it coming from the glamour of Monaco, like in Canada so far?
Well, personally, for the Super League car, yeah, it's a completely different challenge. A lot more bumpier, so you need a completely different setup obviously, than Monaco, but with the bumps as well, the anti-roll and, the dampers, everything's completely different to what we've done, all season, basically. So, yeah, it's a completely new challenge. The walls are nice and close, like the last round, but you're doing it at higher speeds. So, yeah, the concentration's got to be there just as much as Monaco. But, yeah, it's really exciting. Yeah, I haven't hit the Wall of Champions just yet, but I underline yet.
Well, double world champion in Super League, so I'm sure it's due your time maybe at some point. Hey, it's named that way. Nicholas, though, you are the man driving. So we talked about the walls and stuff. It is a much more high-paced track than we had in Monaco, but at the same time, it is still quite street circuit-esque in places. Are you worried by the walls? Is the main thing, getting round and not hitting them, or are we really enjoying this track and going for some great points here?
Not so much worried about them. Maybe the Wall of Champions a little bit, but I have brushed a few in practice. As much as I want to do, so if I can just slightly brush a couple of barriers, I'm fine with that. But been pretty comfortable around here so far in practice. But yeah, always the Wall of Champions is daunting.
And Formula Challenge generally this year so far, how are we finding things?
Pretty tough. Been mostly at the back, but trying to get forward and get some points. I managed to do that in China. Bit of luck, but sometimes you need that along the way. But yeah, I'll keep plugging away and see if I can get some more points going forward.
Well, you've been here every round, which is fantastic, and I'm sure is a massive favour to Francic. Does it help having a knowledgeable manager like David around?
Yeah, I mean, of course it does. I mean, when it's possible, he's actually helping us a bit. So, but obviously he's got his own thing to worry about as well. But it's definitely a big help from someone like David who's won 2 championships. So yeah, definitely a big help.
Absolutely fantastic. I shall probably let you guys get on and do your thing really for this race, because you've got a set 18 laps to go and then another 18 on top of that. So enjoy it, chaps. Red Arrow Racing, and make sure we watch out for you guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Cheers, thank you.
Oh, look, they're all queuing up. I love it. Right, so who shall we move on to next? Shall we move on to... Well, we can't not move on to him, can we, really? Let's bring in our current championship leader currently. If I pull him in, let's see if my technical skills are there. And they are. Fantastic. And welcome to the pre-show. You are currently leading the championship, which must make you very happy so far. Does Canada fit the bill for another great race for you?
To be honest, with my back of the grid penalty, I don't know where I can find myself in race 1, but I hope I can attack in race 2 and gain some points on my nearest championship rival.
That's a good point. We hadn't mentioned that yet, that yes, you have got a back of the grid, unfortunately, along with a couple of others as well. So are you really going to be focusing on getting into a good position for potentially the reverse grid on race 2?
Yeah, and yeah, I hope I will manage to be in that reverse grid places. I hope I won't crash into anyone.
Well, that's a very good start. Let's not crash into people. I know it is for a challenge, and there is some rookies around here at the moment, but that's part and parcel of the challenge, I suppose, to win this championship. And doing very well at the moment. 175 points so far, good 32 over your rivals, and 4 wins so far this year. So that must make you you must be pleased with the season so far.
Yes, I'm happy with how season went till now, but I think maybe 1 or maybe 2 more wins went out because of some mistakes, not because of my pace. So it can be better still.
Well, if it can be better and you're still leading the championship, I think most people would be very jealousy wanting to be in that position that you're in. So Canada itself do you find it a challenging track? Is it an exciting track to drive? It's quite a driver's track from what people tell me.
I always was finding it challenging because it's difficult to make a setup good on straights and in the turns. And personally, I don't like this track because of that setup things. On other tracks, like Austria, I was doing all right, I think, and I was doing good setups. But for Canada, I don't know what is it, but I just feel like I can do good setup or make best lap possible. I don't know. Maybe it's just the track.
So even the championship leader is struggling here on this track. It just shows why they say it can make or break certain people's seasons. It's an amazing season so far. And your team as well, obviously top of the standings at the same time. So you must be pleased there. How is it working within the team and with your teammate?
Teamwork is on very good level. We are always helping each other. If sometimes I was faster, sometimes Mike, like in Monaco, and I think we are creating a very good team, and we have big chance to gain the title in constructors.
Yes, it must be said you're quite clear so far with that, but and it's great to see that the team is working really well together, and that you have got a bit of a challenge there from your teammate as well. That must always spur you on a bit more rather than being having a driver. Sometimes you do find teams where you have a particular number one. I think in the team you're in seems to be two very very closely paced drivers, particularly on certain tracks.
Yes, and I always try to beat my teammate, but in the same time, I'm trying to help him to beat most guys on the grid as he possible can, apart from me. But
I guess that's the manager's problem there, isn't it? To try and deal with that that sort of stuff, you just help out as best you can. Well, I shall let you move on, bless you, and get ready for this race as you have an awful lot to catch up on from the back of the grid. So that's quite. So good luck with that, and thank you very much for joining me.
thank you.
Just before I pull in the next person, we've got some more exciting news. We've just moved into the official practice session at the moment, which you'll be able to see a bit on track, and we have got some rain. Wow, there was a good chance of it kicking in. The chance has decreased as the day's gone on. Last time I looked, it was about a 43% chance of rain. That is pretty big, and that will really mix it up once again. As everyone tested for wet weather setups, or do you assume it's not going to rain and go for the dry because it is such a short race? Taking extra pit stops and getting the strategy wrong will cost you massively here. So, somebody who might be making some of these strategy calls, let's bring in a team manager. I've got the lovely Matthew Allington. I'll bring him in right now. See, speaking of which, a team manager, Matthew Allington, team manager of YTF1 here in Formula Challenge. Welcome.
Hello. It's good to be in the interview booth again.
It's nice to have you here. You're more than welcome anytime, I'm sure. Right, so we were just saying it's now raining. You're a team manager. What on earth do you do in this situation? Have we looked at this? Is this something that you've factored in today?
My first reaction is I'm quite happy because the YTF1 team have generally worked quite hard in the past week or so on setting up a car for the rain here.
So you've seen the weather forecast and gone, right, it's going to rain. We're prepping for rain.
We were getting a bit worried as the day went on because the chance did decrease, but the rain's back.
Yeah, it was up to at one point in the week. I looked; it was a good 80-something% chance of rain, which testing anything else would have been kind of pointless. But as last I saw was about 40%. I don't know if you've got any more up-to-date information than me, but
well, the most recent weather forecast I've seen is thunderstorms.
Fantastic, I suppose. Well, for me, watching, does that not? I mean, obviously you've been prepping really well, but does that not worry you that there's a huge unknown factor potentially for a lot of cars, and it is Formula Challenge, so it is a bit of there is a few rookies around as well that may not have dealt with rain before. Is that just a worry, or do you put that to your back of your mind and go, we'll do our own race?
Well, as it happens, Johan is quite experienced in the championship, and as it stands, we're a bit on the back foot going into the event. Both drivers have got grid penalties from Monaco, very few other people do, and the random element could very well play into our favour today.
Yeah, you say you got grid penalties, which yes, unfortunately, for Monaco it does happen. But of all tracks, you can overtake here. It is one of those races, particularly if people get strategies wrong. If it's wet and dry, who knows?
Yeah, as you say, better here than Monaco.
Yes, I think quite a few people have taken that route up and down the ladder. In fact, where they've potentially pushed it a little bit at Monaco and have now got a penalty here. So YTF1 though sits fifth so far in the standings. Happy with that, or are we looking at? You're only just behind fourth, so we look at the upper echelons of the standings for the season end.
It's a good result so far. I mean, it's easily been the team's best season of the 5 now that we've been in Formula Challenge for. But as you say, we're not far at all behind third, and I think with some luck, we definitely have the pace to get up to third now.
Well, it's so close. It really is, actually, when you look at how... and with there being 2 races each time in Formula Challenge, for the guys that may not have seen it, there is an awful lot of points on offer every round. And so even though if you're quite far behind, you can still catch up over the course of a couple of rounds if you really nail it, and a couple of people have some terrible races, which, if the rain stays like it is like this, we could see some real shock results. And for teams like yourself, you have got a win this year so far, so that must have been a big highlight back in Spain, I believe, off the top of my head.
Yes.
Fantastic. Hey, I do watch these things. Then, so I mean, that must be fantastic to be able to get to that sort of level with the guys, and a couple of podiums on the way as well this year so far.
Yeah, we've had 4 podiums, including the win this year. I mean, we've usually had a pretty bad start to the season, so for our rookie really, Matthew, to get a podium straight out there in Melbourne was a real high at the start of the year. And the pace has never really dropped off. We've just had some pretty poor luck as the season's gone on. So, but the pace is definitely there, and when it all comes together, it is really good feeling.
So I'll get the impression from you. You seem quite confident for Canada, really.
I'm very confident in my driver's pace. I'm not sure how the luck will go. I'm not sure how many people will fall off in front of us. I don't know if my own drivers will get caught up in something. So that remains to be seen.
The worries of a manager, eh? Just
Yeah.
nail biting NDC. I know that all too well. Especially, but if you survived Monaco and you got through that, I'm sure your heart will survive this one as well.
If my heart survived Atlantic Series last year when one of my drivers won the championship at the death, I think I could survive just about anything.
Congratulations once again on that. Yes, that was an absolutely amazing finish to a season, and I'm sure we'll get that at the end of this one as well. But let's get through Canada, and I wish you guys luck. Thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully you join us in a few shows coming up, maybe.
Thank you.
Right, I shall. I have another one waiting. Look at this. This is easy, this, isn't it? People coming in the room. Thank you very much. So, I have got a Patrick Gerber in the room. Let's bring him in. Hello, Patrick.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening indeed. You're so far sitting 8th in the standings. That's pretty impressive for yourself. Are we looking forward to Canada?
Yeah, of course. I wanted to be higher because I was higher after Valencia, I believe so. And last 2 rounds, especially for races, were pretty pity for me. So
not your usual level. A couple of 12 finishes and a couple of DNFs, unfortunately, in race 2. But before that, you got a couple of podiums this year so far. You've got a couple of 4th places as well. So your points are really racking up. And actually you're up. When you look at some of the names that you're ahead of, or some of the names that you're mixing it up with, did you envisage to be this high up in the standings, or are you disappointed to not be further, like you say?
Before the season, especially before the Australian round, I was thinking, okay, I might fight for top 10, and that will be maximum for me. But in the second race already, I have seen that, okay, I have not that pace, so I can fight for it. And this year is the season of learning, so I don't have much expectations to not be disappointed. I know I have still to learn because I have not much experience. So,
well, you're in the right series. That's exactly what Formula Challenge is for. That's where you learn and move forward. And we've seen many people come from this series and move up the ladder. And even we had David Francic in just beforehand. And he started off here, I remember, in 2013, I want to say, and he's now a double Super League world champion. So you're in a good place to start off, I believe. So coming on tonight, we've seen rain now. Were you expecting rain?
Yeah, I did, and I'm really happy about it.
You like the rain, or just because you're really prepared?
Both of it.
Fair enough. Our own waterman Gerber will be watching you going around. You fitted a boat to the bottom of your car or something like that. Happy for this round? You sound that confident.
Yeah, I tested, and I'm pretty happy about the conditions, especially with if we look for my starting position for race number 1, which is bad. And I hope that might help me.
Yeah, it always mixes it up, the rain, and it's going to be really exciting to see. And it's where maybe, who knows, anyone can get a race win and all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to jinx things for you, but I wish you the best of luck there. As a team, are you liking it as a team? You work really well together, or is it more of at this sort of level working on your own?
Me and Bruno are in good relations between each other. He's much experienced than me, so I can learn from him something, and always listen to him what he has to tell me about the race or something like this. So I think without Bruno, I won't be at the stage and in the place that I am.
That's fantastic to hear. I love hearing that teams work really well together and that there's that mutual respect where you can really, really assist each other. So on a race day like this, how do you get into the zone? What will get you ready before the grid? Do you have a particular ritual? Is there anything you have to do? I don't know. You have to I don't know, go to the loo beforehand straight away, or you need to adjust your seat, or you need to go and walk around for an hour. I don't know. Some people have many different things. Is there anything particularly you have to do to get yourself in the zone ready for the races?
I'm starting all the time, learn and see how the tires are working, and I think that's enough. And always, because I'm really interested in music, I always try to listen something before, and that makes me comfortable and happy to race.
So what's the music of choice to pump you up for this round? Maybe we'll
for this round, I don't know. I listen to everything, I think, so just has to be a good song. No
fair enough. I shall let you get on and picking your music list for the for before the race then. But thank you very much for joining us, and we will look out for you, and hopefully you'll join us in future broadcasts.
Thank you. Bye.
Another one down. Look at this, fantastic. This is flying by. I'm loving this. Oh, somebody's gone there. In the meantime, I suppose we should probably have a quick gander through, because anyone wants to join in, of course you can. You're more than welcome. I'm waiting on anyone to join now. We are now free. Thank you very much for everyone who's joined us so far. Should probably run through the standings for you. I'm sure the guys on broadcast will do that for you later. But we have got Minek in first on the standings, 175 points. Roy Schoten at 143. Mike Quint sits on 110. Liam de Wol sits on 103. Chris Shepherd on 99. And James Early on his toes on 98. Menacont 95. It was Patrick Ever that we just spoke to on 90. David Junt on 88. And Roy Versailles on 85. That's your top 10. So they're the ones really to be watching out for and seeing what's going on. Like you said, there is a couple of penalties in there as well. Minet one is probably the biggest. There is a couple of 5 places. Off the top of my head, De Wol had one of them as well, as far as I remember. But you can catch all that on the information page beforehand, and I'm sure they'll run it through as qualifying commences in about 20 minutes' time now, which is quite exciting. We're not sticking around for that long. We'll only be here for a few more minutes if people do want to come in and join us, because it's always nice to speak to these drivers and see what's going on. Nobody in the YouTube channel, though. Make sure you can keep on catching up on there. If there's anything you want to say there, that's also where you can talk to people in the race as well. Let's have a good chat on there. Let's have a good discussion of what's going on. I'm sure with this rain, there'll be absolutely loads happening. Right, let's pull up the live race view, which you can also catch on raceview.nl/GPVWC. You can then see all the timings of what's going on. This works for the race as well, so if you're watching the broadcast, great, but equally catch up and you can see a little bit more detail if you're really into things about what's going on with the live timing. So, although, yes, we are in a wet session and there's only a couple of minutes before the reset and go again, we have got Chris Shepherd in the Stacks Racing, which we must say has a nice livery update for this round as well. Custom one-off for today, because I believe they've hit a particular anniversary. I apologise for not having known exactly which one it is, but I'm sure we'll catch their Facebook page, or it probably even, I'm sure they've mentioned it absolutely everywhere, but it's a very nice looking car. Joan Lindbergh sits there for YTF1 in second at the moment. We were going to be talking to you about what sort of times we could expect in the dry, but it's wet, so none of it counts. At the moment, they're doing 128.6 and 128.7s at the top there, with De Wol also sitting in third for EJ Engineering, with Mike Quint in fourth on a 29.2. They're doing these cars do somewhere around 270 kilometers an hour, 269. Some of them are doing that sort of thing. So just to give you an idea of these type of cars as well. It is the entrance level, so it's exciting to see. There's so many talents that have come through here. I absolutely love watching these. Yes, there has a few crashes occasionally, but that's what you get at this sort of level, unfortunately. And you do find that the champions are the ones that can stay out of that. And everyone has bad rounds, but it's who has the most consistent throughout the year. A bit like we were saying with David Francic, he's even nicknamed Mr. Consistent, but he went back through and did well on this series many years ago now, bless him, about 5 years ago. We see they're just resetting the session now to move on to the next one in a minute. So everyone's sort of stopping and finishing up there. We have got quite a lot of people prepping already, though. There's 24 cars so far in the server, which is fantastic. Must mention there's a couple of academy drivers as well. Reitberg and Nash are the two that are sitting in this time for the GPVWC Academy, which is a team, but it's a team where the drivers are sort of rotated. It's a good chance for people who haven't managed to get themselves a driver or a team yet to be put in. I'm sure if you see somebody like Mr. Menno Klont, he will be able to help you out if you fancy getting in to the cars that way, or do some laps on our server beforehand, and I'm sure you'll get picked up. There is some very wide-eyed managers around that do watch those timing screens quite regularly, including myself. So you never know what's going on. Quite a lot of guys trying the intermediate tyres as well as the wets, which is going to be interesting to see how if that makes any difference on here at all. But everyone's going to be starting on wets, realistically, looking at this. So who else have we got kicking around on here? Just trying to see anyone else. Bear with us. First broadcast, after all. We shall try these pre-shows each time if we can. Right, thank you very much, Mr. Allerton. Stacks are Canadian nationality, which is the reason for the livery. Of course, that would make more sense. You can see we're prepped really well, can't you? But thank you very much. That's exactly why you guys are here. Everyone knows a little bit more than us sometimes, and that's exactly why I need you around. Thank you. But I like the idea, though. People who have these sort of one-off liveries. I know it's not always possible. You don't want everyone changing liveries all the time, but for one-offs, particularly for that sort of thing, particularly they came off the back actually Stacks of a win in race 2 in Monaco, so it's quite apt for them to have a nice one-off livery here. 150 years of Canada, presumably the Grand Prix, but okay, or not. Anyway, nonetheless, that's quite. But join us in the channel there. It's great that people have already chatted away now. Thank you very much for joining us. 13 people. Hey, hello everybody. Hello, 13 people. Obviously, there's an awful lot of people on the track, so that's the biggest thing, really. I'm probably not going to catch many people now because they are all now in the final preparations. Considering that we have only got just shy of 20 minutes now before qualifying gets underway. In fact, nearly 15. Which will be rather exciting to watch. I know David Francic here is on cameras for me, and I very much thank him for joining me for the pre-show. He's also going to be your cameraman extraordinaire for the race. So make sure you hang around for that. We've got Danforth Radio covering the comms going forwards tonight, so make sure you catch up with them. I'm at the time of recording before this, I'm not quite sure who it was, but I'm sure they will be fantastic either way. Many of them are brilliant. Catch up on the old ones. You've just got time, if you haven't known what's going on yet, you've got time to, if you just joined us, you've got time to rewind this, watch this, and then watch qualifying. There's just enough time. Look at that, it's fantastic. So if you haven't managed to catch us, thank you very much for joining us at the last minute. Where have you been? Come on, no for next time. But otherwise, enjoy Canada. I'm going to be watching two races of 18 laps. These great Formula Challenge cars, some fantastic drivers up and down the grid who probably don't get themselves enough credit, but this is a real chance for them to show their worth and move themselves up the ladder in the coming days. Catch the broadcast tonight, and if you don't see that one as well, you can always catch it afterwards on the GPVWC channel. It's saved on there for you. And then we've got Super Cup tomorrow and Super League on Thursday. So make sure you catch all of them as well, where the cars get more and more powerful the further up the ladder you go. Thank you very much for everyone who has joined me tonight. I hopefully will be back in a couple of weeks for the next round as well from Silverstone. So enjoy the racing, and I shall catch you next time. Ciao, everybody.